Hey, friends. I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is my buddy Thomm Jutz. He's going to talk about his friendship with the great Mac Wiseman.
Through making these two records with Mac Wiseman, we became really, really good friends. And he only lived like 15 minutes from here, so I'd go over quite a lot and hang out with him because again, he couldn't leave the house really. He wasn't bedridden or anything; he just sat in his chair, and he loved company. And we got along really well. And so like hardly a day goes by now that he's gone where I don't go like, oh, I didn't ask Mac about Uncle Dave Macon or I don't know, Charlie Poole or whatever. But that's just the way it goes. But Mac also had certain stories that he preferred to tell you. And one that he told me a couple of times that I think is hilarious was he played somewhere in Kentucky with Bill Monroe. And they were driving back to Nashville, and Mac was driving, and Bill said, "Let's go to Rosine to the old home place. I got something I need to do." And they, all right. So they pulled up to the house, and Bill got out of the car. Mac stayed in the car, and Bill's brother came out of the house. I don't know if it was Charlie or Birch or which one it was, but anyway, I think it was Charlie. Mac said as soon as Bill's brother got out of the house, they started fighting like dogs. That's what Mac said. Beat the shit out of each other. And a couple minutes, it was over, and Bill got in the car and said, "Let's go." And they drove to Nashville and never said a word about what happened. So obviously not. I mean, I'm just relating this story.
A day in the life of Bill Monroe.
Oh man, there were so many stories about the Farm and Fun Time show that he started where he had to entertain for 2 or 3 hours every day by himself. And then the Stanleys coming in and being a part of it. And then just touring in that part of the world and playing with, early on with Flat and Scruggs. And when he started with them in Hickory, North Carolina, and they couldn't get anything going. And Mac was like, "Boys, well, we're going to starve in this. I'll get us back into Bristol." And all of that, man, I mean, he told me one time in the early 50s, he wore out 4 sets of tires on his car, just driving. And he also told me that when he was at the Louisiana Hayride, that Shot Jackson was an incredible steel player, but like a lot of steel players, out of necessity, also a really good mechanic. And he said without Shot Jackson, he couldn't have a career. Wouldn't have been able to sustain his career because Shot always worked on his car and he didn't have the money to get it repaired. So Shot Jackson was always. It was just story after story after story after story. And only now that he's gone is it becoming clear to me the magnitude of all the shit that he's seen. I mean, played with Flat and Scruggs in 48, recorded with Bill Monroe in 51, then had his own career. Played. Mac was very, very successful in the 60s on the college circuit because they perceived him as a folk singer. Mac could get up there with a bluegrass band or with a country band or by himself, and it'd be great. And he was the first one to record Gordon Lightfoot songs before Tony Rice did that. Mac had recorded a whole record, maybe not before, sort of at the same time, but Mac had made a whole record with Gordon Lightfoot songs, and Lightfoot loved Mac and loved Mac's recording of "Did You Mention My Name" and all that kind of stuff. So it was just being around him was just incredibly funny and incredibly. I mean, it was an education, being around that guy. Mac said that he was on a bus, a converted school bus, the night with Bill Monroe was there too, supposedly, and Mac said it was the night that Hank finished "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry," and Mac, I think, sort of hinted or meant to said through the grapevine that he had something to do with that, but he never elaborated on that. Maybe he said, "Well, don't use this word or use this word." I don't know.
On the interview that I did with him, he straight up said that he wrote some of the lines, and but he said that's just what you did back then. It wasn't like you would claim writer's share or something.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, especially as poetic as those lines are, and Mac was above average educated for a country singer during those times. I could certainly see that's the elegance in that, especially in the silence of a falling star lights up the purple sky. That maybe he had something to do with it. I don't know, but this was early 50s or something like that. I mean, the memory is a tricky thing, and it's not like. And one thing that Mac always told me about Hank was that he'd never seen him drunk. I wish I would have asked him more.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, click that like button and then subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. Much love to you.